got it like one keel.
Oh.
Is that good enough? Well, come along, children, children, come along, while the moon is shining bright. Get on board and down the river we'll go. We're gonna raise a ruckus tonight. Go ahead, Doug. I say come along, little children, come along, while the moon is shining bright. Get on board and down the river we'll go. We're gonna raise a ruckus tonight. Sing it, Sam.
Well, Jenny and Sambo going to the barn.
Raise a ruckus tonight.
Jenny broke fiddle over Sambo's arm.
Raise a ruckus tonight.
Wasn't too long till Sambo died.
Raise a ruckus tonight.
Jenny made a fiddle out of Sambo's hide.
Raise a ruckus tonight.
We're gonna come along, little children, come along, while the moon is shining bright. Get on board and down the river we'll go. We're gonna raise a ruckus tonight. Oh, Martin.
Across the field.
Raise a ruckus tonight.
Black snake bit me on the heel.
Raise a ruckus tonight.
Well, I turned around to do my best.
Raise a ruckus tonight.
And I fell right into a hornet's nest.
Raise a ruckus tonight.
We're gonna come along, little children, come along, while the moon is shining bright. Get on board and down the river we'll go. That's it. Raise a ruckus tonight.
Yeah, raise a ruckus out there.
Well, welcome to Route 60 Saturday night. Randy, we are raising a ruckus tonight. We are.
No doubt about it, Michelle. Tonight's show benefits Little Victories Animal Rescue. We'll save tonight's show so you can see it on the web at Route60SaturdayNight.com.
And again, I want to thank Sarah Dempsey. She's the director of Little Victories Animal Shelter. Thank you for coming on down, Sarah, and being here. We're going to raise a ruckus tonight to help you and your group down there. Now, we are streaming live on Facebook tonight.
As long as this contraption works.
And we want to thank Paul Calico and all the folks here at Route 60 Music for making this fantastic venue available for this great 4-month series. We're having fun with it. We hope you'll stay engaged, too.
No doubt about it. Let's get on and going now here with our house band, the 1937 Flood.
Raise a ruckus tonight.
Well, hey, hey, baby. I wanna know right now. Be my girl. I say, hey, hey, baby. I wanna know right now.
You'll be
My girl. When I saw you walking down the street, said that's the kind of girl I'd like to meet. She's so pretty, Lord, she's fine. Wanna make her mine, oh mine. Say hey, hey, baby. I wanna know right now. Be my girl. Do it, Doug. Hit it, Sam. I say, hey, Hey, baby, I wanna know right now, be my girl. I say, hey, hey, baby, I wanna know right now, if you be my girl. Watch out now. When you turn and you walk away, that's when I wanna say, come on, baby, give me a word. I wanna know if you be my girl. Say, hey, hey, baby, I wanna know right now, be my girl. Gotta hear from Paul now. Get it, Paul. Sing it. I say, hey, hey, baby, I wanna know right now if you be my girl, if you be my girl, if I be my girl, if you be my girl, big mama. Thank you. Hey, Kanawha.
That was sweeter than the honey from the bee, sweeter than the sugar in the sugar blossom trees. I could go on and on. In fact, way back when I was a DJ, when I was rocking Randy Roberts on the radio, I would have said that is cool as a jewel in a blue limpid pool, and mellow as the cello of love.
Now just go on, Randy, just go on.
But enough about me.
We're ready for this first group. Tell us a little bit about the Kanawha tradition and Bobby Taylor.
Why don't I do that and shut the heck up? The Kanawha tradition is fourth generation West Virginia fiddler, an old-time string band led by champion musician Bobby Taylor, will entertain and educate. And it's important that they educate as well. These guys travel the country, even the globe, educating.
Now, Bobby grew up in the Kanawha Valley, and he learned many of his tunes from fiddlers Clark Kessinger and Mike Humphreys.
Kim Johnson learned to play old-time banjo from Clay County fiddler Wilson Douglas, and also played with Calhoun County fiddler Lester McCumbers for many years.
Now, Jesse Pearson, he's that hard-driving guitarist, and he's most known for his fiddling skills. And we're just looking forward to hearing about them and hearing from them tonight.
So, let's get them up on stage and give a big Route 60 Saturday night welcome to Bobby Taylor and the Kanawha tradition. Here they come.
Well, there's a change in the guitar player. This is not Jesse Pearson. This is Charlie Winter, who I've known most of my life. He has played with a lot of the legendary fiddlers down through the years, and I best know Charlie Winter for playing with the legendary fiddler Irie Mullins, and he was a character. Yeah. I tell you. Okay, I guess that we will start out with a little tune here called McLeod's Reel. I learned this from a Roane County fiddler by the name of Sam Jarvis. They recorded in 1928, and he was a wonderful old-time fiddle player. Here's one that he called Muskrat Rag, but it's really McLeod's Reel, so... Thank you very much. Okay, leading into another great West Virginia fiddler that was announced, Clark Kessinger, 1928 to 30. He recorded many old-time fiddle tunes, and actually they sold all over the United States and beyond. His Wednesday Night Waltz in that series sold over 1 million copies, and he was I think maybe the first million seller for that label, or maybe any label. I'm not sure of that fact, but in either case, we're going to play one of Clark Kessinger's favorite tunes, which is known for the Kanawha Valley, and it's Sally Ann Johnson. Let's see here. I think we'll do a tune here. Charlie and I play together about once a week, and we have a little favorite tune that we end our sessions with, and it's Old Mother Flanagan.
Oh.
They'll name a tune pert near anything.
Pert near.
How about it? Bobby Taylor and the Kanawha tradition. Sounding really nice right there. Bobby, you and I were talking a little bit earlier. Just hang on a bit. Just relax. We were talking a little bit earlier, and you are a pretty well-traveled fellow. You're just back from Nashville, I understand.
I went down to Nashville for a few days down there, visiting with Steve Haley and playing a few tunes and all that. Steve Haley is the grandson of Ed Haley, the famous West Virginia fiddler that influenced Clark Kessinger. They call him the grandfather of fiddling in America because Clark Kessinger, kind of being the father of fiddling in America for all of his 1928 to 30 recordings, and influenced, like I said, a world of fiddlers. There's many other great fiddlers too that could have that title, but
from the late 1920s till now, the music still stands up strong, doesn't it?
It really does, yes.
Now, Bobby, I'm behind you. Don't crane strain your neck or anything. We're just going to do a little interview with Bobby for a couple minutes before we get back to some more music. Bobby, I'm just wondering, you have been playing some great music for a long time. How did you really get started? What inspired you and got you going?
I guess at the age of 13, my father thought it was safe to bring the fiddle that his dad had given him on his deathbed home, that two young boys might be able to respect it. I was 13. My brother Michael was 10. And Michael started on it first, and he didn't stay with it too long. And I started playing and could kind of use the bow right from the very start. So Dad said, he asked me, "Have you picked up the fiddle anymore?" And I said, no, let Michael play it. He said, "It's just as well you couldn't learn no how." And I thought, maybe I could beat him on that tune, which was Soldier's Joy. But I never was able to beat him on Soldier's Joy.
Well, Bobby, talk to us a little bit about what your hopes for in the coming months and years, personally. What are you looking forward to?
Well, I hope to pass on the traditions and the history and all that. I love to see things preserved and presented. I love to see younger people taking it up and carrying it on. I like to see good documentation of the older fiddlers. And I basically continue to share what I know. And I really like the stories and the history that goes with it, because I think that that's a lot of the feeling and soul of the music.
Education is just as important for you as entertainment, isn't it?
It really is, yes.
And we were talking a little bit before the evening got started, and you said you've been to Augusta. Now, you teaching some sessions there, or what was your involvement with Augusta?
Kim was teaching banjo there, and I was teaching fiddle. She was teaching beginning banjo, and I was teaching advanced fiddle, and had some young people and older alike in the class, and it was so nice to share some of the West Virginia tunes with people from around our state and well beyond. So it was a great class. They learned some neat new tunes, including tunes in the style of Ed Haley and Clark Kessinger and many other West Virginia fiddlers.
Were you surprised by any of the folks that were there, that by their abilities? Did anybody stand out to you?
I think that in my class they all stood out quite well. They basically had their own flavor and speed of learning, but the dedication, soul, and spirit that was there, it was my way of trying to give them some pretty little new tunes to play in the cold winter months and all that. So I think as far as them standing out, or one standing out, I would say they all did.
He's a fiddling traditionalist right here, and a very diplomatic fellow as well. And so, why don't you diplomat us with a few more tunes right here? It's Bobby Taylor and Kanawha Tradition, ladies and gentlemen. You guys too.
You know there's only one perfect instrument. You realize it is the fiddle. You see, the banjo's a concoction.
I tried to fix it while you was talking and I didn't have time.
We've all got to have our banjo jokes, you understand, because we've got to carry on and entertain the audience while they get this. Actually, the banjo's a wonderful addition.
That's right. Take it back.
We're getting ready to do another rather flamboyant tune of Clark Kessinger. I'm known for playing a version of Durang's hornpipe, and this version has won a lot of fiddle contests. When I was teaching young students, I kind of had this tune comparable to the movie The Karate Kid. Have you all ever seen that, any of you? The Karate Kid, remember he said, paint the fence, wax on, wax off. And then there was a move that there was no counter for. Well, Durang's hornpipe, I tried to tell the young people, if you actually land it, you might win the contest.
That's right. Guy kicked the other one in the face.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Well, here's one called Durang's hornpipe, and Clark Kessinger, it was certainly good for him. He was a world champion fiddler.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Taylor and Kanawha Tradition.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. How about him? How about him? How about it out there in Facebook land? I'm telling you what, I said, what do you got coming up next? And he goes, well, my season's about done. We kind of lay low for the winter time, but in the spring, in March, Bobby's going to head to Florida, where he's actually going to play. And I thought this was pretty neat. At the Swanee Banjo Camp, way down upon the Swanee River. Far, far away. Charlie, you could sing that, couldn't you?
Oh, yeah, yeah. We'll do a couple of Civil War songs here, modern Civil War songs.
Mama read my uniform, sewed a strap on the shoulder. Papa wanted my company flag, bring it back when it's over. And the last time you see Jenny is what those cottonwoods are saying to me. And the last time you'll see Jenny will be the last time you'll see Tennessee. Jenny said she'd wait for me till the war was over. On the stallion I did ride, leaving Tennessee. And the last time you'll see Jenny is what those cottonwoods are saying to me. And the last time you'll see Jenny will be the last time you'll see Tennessee. And the last time you'll see Jenny is what those cottonwoods are saying to me. And the last time you'll see Jenny will be the last time you'll see Tennessee.
Paul Martin. This next one's from written by a local feller, Eastern Kentucky. Tell them about it, Randy.
That's just a tune written by Chris Stapleton. Gotten a lot of recognition. Chris's recognition he deserved and hadn't gotten, I believe, up until this point. But wonderful singer, wonderful musician, wonderful songwriter.
The song's called Can You Run? 1, 2, 3.
There's smoke down by the river. Hear the cannon and the drum. I've got one thing to ask you, honey. Can you run? You know I hate to ask so late, but the moment's finally come. And you won't have time to change your mind. Can you run? Can you run to the freedom line of the Lincoln soldier, where contraband can't be a man with a musket on his shoulder? I've got to stand up tall before I'm done. Wrap these hands of mine around the gun. Chase this taste of bondage from my tongue. Can you run? Can you run? Taking nothing with me. Just got time to beat the sun. And the boys in gray are never far away. Can you run? Can you run to the freedom line of the Lincoln soldier? Well, contraband can't be a man with a musket on his shoulder. I've got to stand up tall before I'm done. Wrap these hands of mine around the gun. Chase this taste of bondage from my tongue. Can you run? Can you run? There's smoke down by the river. Hear the cannon and the drum. And even if I die, I've got to try. Can you run? Can you run to the freedom line of the Lincoln soldier, where contraband can't be a man with a musket on his shoulder? I've got to stand up tall before I'm done. Wrap these hands of mine around the gun. Chase this taste of bondage from my tongue. Can you run? Can you run? Can you run?
1937 flood.
Well, this is our special time, about midpoint of our show, where we've got a storyteller. This is a special portion of the show. Dave Peyton, Brother Dave Peyton. He's one of the original founding members of the 1937 flood. We can never pinpoint him on the exact date. We just say 40 years ago. Charlie Bowen, Dave Peyton, and Joe Dobbs, who's no longer with us, started this fine ensemble, the 1937 flood. And we are so grateful to have you with us here tonight, Dave. You've got a story to tell.
Yes, I have a story to tell in honor of Halloween. About a week and a half now till Halloween. I thought, when I was thinking about stories and Halloween, I thought, well, I ought to tell a story about my Granny Reynolds. Granny Reynolds was my great-grandmother. She was a witch, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. The interesting thing about it is her great-great-grandchild, I'm a great-grandchild, her great-great-grandchild is with us tonight, Carol. Carol is over there. She came to visit my brother, her father. She lives in Texas. So there's two direct descendants of Granny Reynolds tonight. Let's go back a minute to, 20 years ago, I guess it was, when one of her grandchildren came. He lived in Washington, spent most of his life in Washington, and was an electrician at the Pentagon over there after he served in the Korean War. He came to the house, and I was kind of surprised, and he said, "I come over to tell you something." And I said, "What's that?" He said, "I want to talk about Granny Reynolds." And I said, "Okay, good," because I remember her when I was 4 or 5 years old. She spent a few months with us. She was 92 at the time. And I started counting back and found out that she was born in 1868. And I knew her. I actually knew her, which is it's amazing to me that I knew somebody who was born in the same decade that the Civil War ended. She wore long black dresses, talked to herself a lot. When she came to dinner, she'd take her teeth out, eat dinner, and when she finished dinner, she put them back in. I'll never forget that. And I said, "What do you mean Granny was a witch?" He said, "Well, I knew she was strange. I knew she had powers because I saw them. And so I went over to the Library of Congress and spent hours over there researching witches. And I came to the obvious conclusion that she was truly a witch." Now you understand that witches were not the Wicked Witch of the West. Witches were mostly the good witches. They were... They wouldn't happen to be Christians. They weren't Christians. The old people would have called them pagans, but they were also known as, they went by several other names. Wiccan is the one that they use these days. I don't even know what she called herself. I don't have any idea. All I know is she told Delmont, it was my uncle, that he called her aside a few times and said, "Don't believe your mom and dad. There's no hell. Just forget about that." So that's where she parted ways with the Christian religion. She was born in central West Virginia and married a fellow up there with the name of Joe, and moved down here. She lived in Barbersville for a while. She lived on Cyrus Creek, which is just a couple miles away. She lived in Guyandotte. She lived several different places. Joe, meanwhile, never lived with her. Maybe one time, because they only had one child. One child. Back in those old days, you had 5 or 6. Well, they just had one, and I can understand why. Because he finally figured out what she was and spent the rest of his life living in C&O camp cars and died on the C&O camp cars. But Delmont says, Delmont, by the way, he got his name from a can of peaches, honest to God. Grandma saw the name Delmonte on a can of peaches and said, "I like that name," and named him Delmont. He said, "You know, I've got this one story to tell you, and I'll swear that it's the truth." He said, Granny and I, her name was Priscilla, by the way, Priscilla Griffith Reynolds. he said, I'll tell you that it was a Sunday morning, and Mom and Dad had gone down the hill to the church. They were both Baptist, foot stomping, hell-raising Baptists, as it were. And Granny and Delmont were left alone up on the hill in the cabin where they lived. And before he left, Grandpa told Delmont, said, "Now, son, while I'm gone, I want you to go out there and catch the chicken and kill it, dress it, so that when your mama gets back, she can fix Sunday dinner, because you always had chicken dinner on Sunday." And he said, "Okay, I'll do that." So they went down the hill, and Granny was sitting on the front porch, and he was out there trying to catch a chicken. Well, it was one of those days when chickens were wild. These chickens were, they were free-range chickens. You couldn't catch anything. Sometimes chickens are pretty, if you know anything about chickens, sometimes they're kind of gentle, like they've been smoking marijuana or something, but sometimes they just get wild, and you cannot catch a chicken no matter what you try to do. And that was one of those mornings. He was running all over the place and couldn't. He tried to fall on them. He was doing all kinds of things, trying to catch a chicken, and every time he almost caught it, it'd run away. And he was only 5 or 6 years old, and he just sat down on the ground and started crying. And Granny looked at him and said, "Well, what's wrong, child?" He said, "Well, Dad said I had to kill a chicken and dress it out for Mom to fix chicken dinner when she gets back from church. And if I can't catch this chicken, when Dad gets home, he's going to spank me hard." My grandpa, his dad, was a pretty tough old man. And he said, "I know he's going to spank me hard." And she said, "That's a shame. You can't catch a chicken?" He said, "No." She said, "Well, now, which one of those chickens would you like to catch?" And he said, "Well, just any of them." She said, "How about that one?" The chicken fell over dead.
What?
It fell over dead right there. He said, "That's when I knew that there was something strange about Granny Reynolds." And he said, he said, she did all kinds of things. She had cats, familiars, she called them. Well, witches have cats that they're called familiars. And there's a lot of rumors about what they were, that they were direct relation to Satan, but they weren't. But witches do like cats. They always did like cats. And he said there was one day that Granny had gone down the road to visit some relatives and left the cats in the house alone. And Grandpa, his dad, said, "Go out there and get a gunny sack. We're going to put these cats in the sack, and you're going to take them down to Cyrus Creek and drown them, every one of them," because he didn't like cats at all. He said, "So I went out and got a gunny sack." He said, "I got 1 or 2 of them in the sack." He said, "One of them got up in a fireplace, there's a ledge up there. And one of those cats had gotten up on the ledge, and Grandpa couldn't get to them, but he had his cane. He was pretty crippled. He took a cane going like that, and there again, like that. And about the time he was trying to get that cat out of there, the doors flew open, and Granny walked in. And she said, "Will Peyton, you leave my cats alone." And Delmont said, Grandpa's face turned white, and he turned around and said, "Let the cats go, boy." He was scared to death of her. And apparently, like I say, Joe Reynolds was scared to death of her too. I could imagine him not knowing what she was until they got married and had one child, which was my grandmother, Stella. And after that, like I say, he never really lived with her much. She was living in Guyandot at the time, and she told this story to Delmont. He didn't see it, but she told this story and laughed every time she told him the story. She was living in Guyandot at the time, and Joe, on the weekends, they threw him out of the camp cars. He had to go somewhere because they had to clean the camp cars out. So he'd have to come home on the weekends. Well, he came back to Guyandot, and instead of really living with Granny at the time, he'd get his buddies and they'd go out drinking. And there was a lot of bars in Guyandot at the time. And she told Delmont, she says, I was in bed asleep. It was about midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. And she said, Joe came in with his buddies. Well, now Joe when he got drunk, he couldn't say Priscilla. he called her sorry. He said, sorry, come down here right now. Come down here. So I don't want to, Joe. I said, come down here. I've got a bet with these boys down here. I need you to help me win this bet. So she said, okay. So she put her nightgown, or she put her bathrobe on and walked downstairs. And he said, I told these boys that he could move things with your mind. I want you to see you move something with your mind so that I can win this bet. Joe, I don't want to do that. I don't really want. I said, do you move stuff with your mind? Because I got to see, these boys got to see you do that to win the bet. She said, okay, fine. You stand over there beside the windows, behind that library table. So they all stood over there behind the library table. And Granny stood in front of the library table and started staring at it. And it started moving toward them. And they were just amazed. They didn't know what to do. They just stood there kind of like in a daze until I could just see this happening until the library table got up against them and started squishing them. So bad they started. She said, told Delma, I said, they started yelling and screaming like baby boys. Let me out of here, let me out of here. She said, I finally turned it loose and it backed off and they all ran out. And she said, I didn't see Joe the rest of the weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for our storyteller, Mr. Dave Peyton. You might know his work as a newspaper columnist. He's appeared in the Townsend Daily Mail and Huntington's Herald-Dispatch, and also in the past, he's been a frequent commentator on West Virginia Public Television. David, thank you so much. We look forward to hearing your story next month. We appreciate you, Dave Peyton. Thank you.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, blessed day, the dark, sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful how do you do? than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Well, if you'll just indulge us for one more house band tune. This has been such a great evening. Thank you for coming out again, reminding you that all of the proceeds from the door are going to Little Victories Animal Shelter. And Sarah Dempsey is the director, and she is here. She's in the back. Some of your people are here supporting you tonight, Sarah. Thank you. And so we've got one more song we want to share with you before we bring up our next guest, Rob McNurlin. I know Rob's fans are getting itchy. They're getting antsy, but just bear with us. I wanted to tell you that
text messages from them saying, "Where's Rob?"
the last song and this song are on the 1937 Flood's new CD. So think about that as you pass by those CDs on your way out the door. I hate to see that evening sun go down. I hate to see that evening sun go down. 'Cause my baby done left this town. Tomorrow, the way I'm feeling today, yeah. If I'm feeling tomorrow, the way I'm feeling today, I'm gonna pack my trunk and make my getaway. Single woman with a diamond ring, pull the man she loved round by her apron strings. One for her powder and her store-bought hand. Clairol Box 8D. Well, the man she loved wouldn't have gone nowhere. Oh, yeah. I got the St. Louis blues, just as blue as I can be. Man's got a heart like a rock cast in the sea. Got the St. Louis blues, I'm just as blue as I can be. One time,
One for her powder and her store-bought hair. Well, the man she loved wouldn't have gone nowhere. Oh, yeah. I got the St. Louis blues, just blue as I can be. I'm just as blue. Oh, yeah. That man got off like a rock cast in the sea. Got the St. Louis blues. I'm just as blue as I can be.
A 1937 flood. Michelle Lewis. Wowzer.
Well, you hold on to your hat because I don't think we've heard nothing yet. This next
telling you what.
guest coming up to sing
Get him
and
set up.
play.
Before that, though, let me say that I just want to thank the crowd that's out here. But we got all kinds of people that are joining us on Facebook Live.
Oh, hey,
And that's been the
Facebook
whole thing. They're
Live.
talking to each other. They're sharing. We've heard from. Heck, I wrote them down.
Oh, we've got comments.
Stuart Schneider and Rob Harden and Joe Thompson. Yeah, they're all commenting back and forth to each other,
Oh
and
my
that's what we were
gosh.
hoping
Are
for.
they having a good time?
So you guys share it out there. We appreciate that. We got a couple of dozen right now. We're going for a couple of hundred, and we're just going to keep on growing as things go. So thank you out there in Facebook Live land. Ooh, now I'm scaring you because I'm too close.
Well, you know a little bit about this artist, Randy. You've been knowing Rob McNurlin for quite some time now.
Nigh on to 2 decades or more, I think, eh?
A long time, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The Dead Sea was just sick.
Oh my goodness. Long in the tooth. All right.
Well, I believe you told me that Rob was raised in Eastern Kentucky on hymns in church, the Johnny Cash show, and on TV, and the harmonica from his grandmother, his parents' records, and a guitar that he got on his ninth Christmas that set him on his musical path.
There's no doubt about that, Michelle. He's learned hundreds of folk, hillbilly blues, and gospel tunes inspired by Cash, Dylan, Woody Guthrie, the great Hank Williams. He started writing songs and making these originals with the traditional.
Now, he's released 9 CDs, 9, yes, and his very latest one is Cowboy Boot Heel.
That's actually wrong.
Oh,
That's okay.
oh, no,
That's
fix
okay.
it
That's
for
okay.
me, fix
Keep
it
going.
for me.
It's a Tent of the Wicked, is the new.
That's right, Tent of the Wicked.
You have to say that again.
Tent of the Wicked.
Tent of the Wicked is Rob's brand new CD.
I got it pitched in my backyard right now. No, I'm kidding.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rob McNurlin.
Well, my terraplane is flying through the twisted pines. Can't say I'm happy, but I'm content most of the time. I still remember it still. Now how my good guy would rock me in them old cotton fields. And we'd sit on her Davenport alone in the dark. Now this old terraplane's about all that'll spark. I still remember it still. Now how my good guy would rock me
don't say a word. If you wanna ride with me, not a word will be heard. I still remember it still. Now how my good guy would rock me in them old cotton fields. What a great band, huh? What a great band. I'd like to thank them for letting me come up, and all the folks here at Route 60 Music. Getting a little woofy here, Paul, on stage. Here's a talking blues song that I wrote, and it's so out of meter, I'm just going to have to play it solo. So that's why I don't play it at songwriting things. And there you go, that's good. It's called the Talking Stuffed Rat Massacre Disaster Blues. Driving in my car, show to show, playing my guitar. Sometimes out here on the road, there's nothing to do, no place to go. So I just walk around, looking in the windows. Well, one time, way out west, I was taking a walk before I took a rest, and just around 2 o'clock, I stopped into an old pawn shop. Thought I'd take stock in everybody's hock, maybe find something I needed. Shelf way in the back, I come across this stuffed rat. I priced it from the proprietor, and he asked me what I wanted it for. Without too much fuss, I bought it for $10. Don't know why I wanted it though, there ain't much you can do with a stuffed rat. Take that rat for a stroll, so out the door we did go, and I hadn't gone but about half a block till I got the feeling that I was being watched. Followed, looked over my shoulder, there's 2 big rats following me down the road. I picked up the pace and acted brave. Corner there, seen them rats was everywhere. After every alley and doorway, there's more rats coming my way. I was running, they was running, them rats just kept coming, by the thousands now. I was dead till till I come down to the river's edge. And one big heave and a little throw, out in the river that stuffed rat could go. Much to my surprise, the other rats followed into the tide, just like Pharaoh's tribe that drowned. I stood there wondering what was happening. Well, shuffling my feet with my head hung down, started walking back to town. I thought and walked, and I walked and thought, till I come back to that same pawn shop. I hesitated. That's me hesitating right there. And I stuck my head in the door, and the man said, "What you back here for?" And I asked him real slow, "You got any banjos?"
McNurlin.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to switch guitars.
While he gets his other guitar, we're going to start an interview session, but I think we've got a banjo player or two in the crowd that might take exception to that story you just shared.
Believe it or not, Kim Johnson is the one that talked to me. That's the hidden track on this new record. I always like to put something that, that you didn't pay for on the record,
Bonus
She's the one that convinced me. I keep trying to look at you, and I realize that I'll be away from the microphone then.
Right.
I feel like I'm on the dating game. Question number 2.
If I start squawking, I'll just have to move back, but I'll move
That's
on up
okay.
here.
But anyway, she's the one that convinced me to put that on the record. So.
Well, she's a good pal. That's a very entertaining song.
Well, thank you. Well, you take a 2-minute joke and turn it into a 5-minute song.
I like what you did.
Thank you.
You started when you were young. That's
that was
a
a
lot of
long time
musicians.
ago.
You got bit by the bug. How did that happen?
It was all my parents' fault.
Honestly.
Mom had this box of 45 records that had all the Sun records, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis. Then she had chess records, the Sun, Chuck Berry, and she had Little Richard records. And I listened to all those, and Dad had the Hank Williams and the Marty Robbins and Sons of the Pioneers and all that. And funny thing, they used to tell me they hated rock and roll, so I thought Chuck Berry and all those people were playing country music. So, but anyway, it was their fault. They listened to those records a lot.
Yeah, good taste though. Good taste.
Oh, great taste. Yeah, great taste.
So you absorb it a little bit.
Yeah, Dad bought. You remember when you used to buy a stereo and it looked like a piece of furniture?
Console.
They bought one of those when I was really young, and we would go to bed, and I forget how many albums you could stack on there, but he would stack them up, and I'd go to sleep listening to those records.
Well, Rob, what inspires you now here in 2017?
What inspires me now?
Yeah.
How do you keep the hits coming?
Well,
10 CDs.
I was going to say what inspires me now is knowing it's almost over. But that probably wouldn't be the proper thing to say. I don't know.
I think you just said it.
But I don't know. Sometimes you just got to go search out some inspiration. So.
Do you ever have those times where lightning just strikes and you have to stop everything you're doing and sit down and get your guitar and start writing it?
Occasionally, still, yeah. It doesn't happen as much as it used to, but it still happens.
So where did you just finish playing? Where were you last?
He was at church.
I was at a church meeting in Rush, Kentucky, with a band called Yesterday's Gospel Thursday night. So that was the last show I played. Oh, well, hopefully not the last. The most recent show.
The most recent show. That leads us to where will you be next?
Texas?
Well, that's coming up in November. I have some shows between now and then, but I don't know where they're at. None of them's around here. No, there's some down in Kentucky. Some more church shows. I've been playing a lot of churches lately, and I don't know where I'm going to be. Going to be in Point Pleasant, I know, the first Saturday in November, and then I head to Texas.
Well, next time somebody asks you where you get your inspiration, talk about those church shows. And just
Okay, well, that'd be good, wouldn't it? That would be, wow, thank you for that.
Well, again, this is the great Rob McNurlin. We're
Thank you
here
all for
raising
having
some
me.
money for Little Victories Animal Shelter. Thank everybody for coming. Thanks everybody on Facebook. Thank you. And the 1937 Flood Band, the house band, thank you guys. And we'll just let Rob do some more magic.
Here's one more off this new record, and then we'll play something else, maybe. We'll call that Danville Girl. The morning dew fades from view, so love goes. The cuckoo bird warbles a word, what he says ain't nobody knows. I've been all around this world looking for that Danville girl. From Columbus Stockade I did escape, North Carolina I did go. Heard the white dove sing, waited for a train, sleeping by the old crossroad. I've been all around this world looking for that Danville girl. Danville girl, Danville girl, looking for that Danville girl. If you see an old train line runs on time, so I hit the track to ride these rides. Gotta trust in God. I did never look back. I've been all around this world looking for that Danville girl. Through the cold rain and snow, from the banks of the Ohio out to California, driving wheel, $2 bill, my companions along the way. I've been all around this world looking for that Danville girl. Danville girl, Danville girl, looking for that Danville girl. I'd pawn my watch and chain to see her again. She's the lily of the West, a briar in her heart keeps us apart. I'll never lay my head upon her breast. I've been all around this world looking for that Danville girl, with her hair piled high, a tear in her eye. I remember her that way. My go-to-meeting clothes and the path that she chose, I just turned and walked away. I've been all around this world looking for that Danville girl. Danville girl, Danville girl, Thank you all very much. What a great band. Okay, we're going to do one now that I wrote a long time. Got my capo back here next to my heart, as the string bean would say.
Is that your heart?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's a joke. I can't get it out. Here it is. It's rough being me, folks. But anyway, a long time ago, I had the pleasure of going down to Hendersonville, Tennessee, and recording an album at Johnny Cash's Cabin Studio, and his son, John Carter Cash, produced it. This was back around, I think it was 2000, January of 2000, if I remember right. And it was great because we were recording at night, and Johnny was working on a new record during the day. So I would always say, "What mic's your dad singing into?" You know, that's the mic I'd sing into. But here's one called Cowboy Booty. Yeah. Early morning, almost dawn. Saddle the pony I rode in on. You know I told you I must go, as my cowboy boot heel taps out the rhythm of my soul. The sound of leather reins on the saddle horn. How I hate to leave my corazon. Up in the mountains I see snow, as my cowboy boot heel taps out the rhythm of my soul. Don't ask how long I'll be gone. I'm heading for the hills of the unknown. Just what I'll find there, I don't know. As my cowboy boot heel taps out the rhythm of my soul. I may find danger, I may find strangers dressed as angels unaware. May find grief, I may find peace, the girls with rays my way. Up ahead I see your ghost as my cowboy boot heel taps out the rhythm of my soul. There are spirits all around. I lose my grip and fall to the ground. My pony's head is hanging low as an angel's boot heel taps out the rhythm of my soul. An angel's boot heel taps out the rhythm of my soul. Thank you all very much. Thank you so much. Well, we've got one more here. Once again, thanks everybody for coming out, and thank these guys for making me sound, and gals, for making me sound so good, and Paul and Mike and everybody here at the store. But as I was looking out over all of your beautiful faces, I realized I'd never seen a group of people that needed a gospel song more than you are. You all noticed it, didn't you? You all knew. I'm joking, folks. I'm joking. We'll end it this way. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building for my Lord, for my Lord. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building for my Lord, for my Lord. If were a pusher, well, I can tell you what I do. Well, I would quit my pushing and I'd work on a building too. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building for my Lord, for my Lord. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building for my Lord, for my Lord. Were a preacher, well, I tell you what I do. Well, I would keep on preaching and I'd work on a building too. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building for my Lord, for my Lord. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building for my Lord, for my Lord.
I'm working on a building for my Lord, for my Lord. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building for my Lord, for my Lord. Everybody sing now. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building for my Lord, for my Lord. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building for my Lord, for my Lord. I'm working on a building for my Lord, for my Lord.
Thank you all very much. Amen. The Tri-State Country Troubadour, right there, Rob McNurlin, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic. The Holy Ghost building for my Lord. We want to thank everybody that's come out tonight. All you people in Facebook land as well, because 10% battery power, you're just making it through here. Next time I'll plug it in. We'd like to thank Little Victories Animal Shelter for doing the great work that they do over there. I've spent some time out there, and we're happy to raise, pass a little money for them. Thank all you for coming tonight. Rob McNurlin's going to play next at a church near you, I guarantee it. And Bobby Taylor's going to take it easy until this spring. So I want to thank Dave Peyton for showing up and telling us about a witch. And we just had a big old time tonight. And let's give it for our house band, the 1937 flag. Take us home, Jerome.
Well, I have seen rain on a cloudless day, and I have seen snows that fell in May. Some things are always meant to change, and there ain't no ash will burn. Love is a precious thing, I know, burns just like West Virginia coal. But when the fire goes out, it's cold, and there ain't no ash will burn. Get it now. In every life there comes a time when there are no more tears to cry. We all must leave something dear behind, and there ain't no ash will burn. Love is a precious thing, I know, burns just like West Virginia coal. But when the fire goes out, it's cold, and there ain't no ash will burn in it all. You say this life is not your lot. Well, I can't be something that I'm not. We can't stoke the fire we ain't got, and there ain't no ash will burn. Love is a precious thing, I know, burns just like West Virginia coal. But fire goes out, it's cold and there ain't no ash will burn. Hit it, Sam. I have seen rain on a cloudless day. I have seen snows that fell in May. Some things are always meant to change, but there ain't no ash will burn. Love is a precious thing, I know. Burns just like West Virginia coal. But when the fire goes out, it's cold and there ain't no ash will burn.
Thank you. Taking it home. Paul, Sam, Randy, Michelle, Doug, Charlie, the 1937 Flood, ladies and gentlemen.
So we'll be back next month on the third Saturday of the month in November, and we'll have another great variety show for you with some more great guest artists, and we'll have another charity set
In
up.
fact, it will be the Huntington City Mission, Michelle, come November. So make sure you join us on Facebook and on our website at route60saturday.com, where we'll have a couple different versions of the show to show you, and tell your friends about it, and make plans to come the third Saturday in November. We'd like to thank Paul Calico so much. And he's having as good a time as anybody, I'll tell you that. But I'd like to thank all the players, Rob McNurlin and Bobby Taylor and all the bands, and all of you for coming out tonight. This is a great crowd here at Rouse's. Is this great entertainment for $5 on a Saturday night or what? I'm telling you. Take it home. Thank you. Drive home safely. Make sure you buckle up those seatbelts on the way home. Good night, everybody.